At 79, Debbie Harry continues to defy societal expectations, earning the title of one of the most indecent women in the world, but not for the reasons you might think. Far from scandalous behavior, her indecency comes from challenging norms and embracing her individuality with unapologetic flair. As the iconic frontwoman of Blondie, she was already redefining what it meant to be a woman in rock music. Now, decades later, she is still turning heads with her fearless style, bold fashion choices, and candid approach to aging. In this post, we'll explore why Debbie Harry's unapologetic attitude makes her a true trailblazer, and share photos that prove she's only getting bolder with age. Debbie Harry, an iconic journey. Through the ages. When you hear the name Debbie Harry, what comes to mind? For many, it's a sharp image of a punk rock icon with platinum blonde hair, bold fashion choices, and an undeniable energy that changed the course of music history. In the 1970s and 80s, she rose to fame as the frontwoman of Blondie, a band that fused punk, new wave, disco, and pop to create an unforgettable sound. With hits like Heart of Glass, Call Me, and Rapture, Debbie Harry became a household name. But even at 79 years old, she's still very much in the spotlight, captivating audiences with her audacity, style, and message. She is without a doubt one of the most revered figures in the music industry, but also one of the most intriguing when it comes to her approach to aging and life itself. Today, some refer to her as the most indecent woman in the world. At first glance, the term might sound like a scandalous label, perhaps implying that she is the epitome of rebellion, controversy, or breaking societal norms in a negative sense. But Debbie Harry has always been about redefining what society expects of women, especially older women, and showing that the words indecent and unapologetic are not inherently bad. Far from it, in fact. Her so-called indecency stems from her fearless rejection of conventional standards, particularly the outdated expectations of how women should look, behave, or exist as they age. Her image, her style, her persona, every aspect of Debbie Harry's life has been an assertion of independence, freedom, and embrace of individuality. Let's take a deep dive into what makes her such a powerful figure and how she's used her platform, her voice, and her presence to break boundaries. A trailblazer in punk and pop, the beginnings of a legend. Debbie Harry was born Angela Tremble in Miami, Florida on July 1st, 1945, though her family moved to New Jersey when she was young. A woman of striking beauty with an ethereal quality, she stood out from the start, though her path to stardom was hardly smooth. Before Blondie, she worked a variety of jobs, including as a waitress, a secretary, and even as a Playboy bunny. Her early years in the music scene found her singing in various bands and performing in small clubs, but it wasn't until she joined Blondie in 1974 that her career would explode in ways she could never have predicted. The 1970s New York punk scene was a breeding ground for revolutionary ideas and musical experimentation. And Blondie, fronted by Harry, quickly became a fixture. But rather than simply following the mold of other punk bands, Blondie pushed boundaries in every direction, blending rock, pop, disco, and even rap to create a sound that was uniquely their own. Debbie's cool, confident demeanor, along with her striking beauty and platinum blonde hair, captivated audiences worldwide, making her one of the most recognizable faces of the era. As Blondie's frontwoman, Debbie Harry was a pioneer. She took punk rock's chaotic energy and gave it a polished, glamorous twist. Her sex appeal and raw power were combined in a way that no one else in rock had done before. Songs like Heart of Glass melded disco with punk, and Rapture introduced rap to a mainstream audience, an achievement that would later be credited with paving the way for the genre's rise in pop culture. Yet it wasn't just the music that made Harry iconic. It was how she carried herself, confident, unapologetic, and fiercely independent. She was a breath of fresh air in an industry that often demanded women be relegated to the background or, at best, just part of the scenery. The power of style. Fashion as expression. Debbie Harry is renowned for her fashion sense. Her style has been as integral to her persona as her music, and she has always used clothing as a tool of rebellion. In the late 70s and 80s, while others were still caught in the glitter and glam of disco or the grunge of punk, Debbie became a fashion icon by wearing clothes that made a statement about who she was and what she stood for. She wasn't interested in dressing to fit into a specific mold. Whether it was leather jackets, ripped tights, or daring outfits that showed off her edgy punk attitude, Harry embraced looks that combined the rawness of punk with the glamour of Hollywood. Her punk rock style was all about attitude, an attitude that came across in the way she wore clothes, as if to say, "This is who I am, take it or leave it." But beyond the obvious punk elements, there was an element of rebellion in Debbie's style choices. Rebellion against the idea that women, especially older women, had to fade into the background once they reached a certain age. Even now, as a 79-year-old woman, Debbie Harry refuses to dress or act in any way that could be described as age-appropriate. Her outfits today still reflect the same boldness and fearlessness that characterized her youth. From leather pants to sharp blazers, she continues to push the boundaries of what society thinks is acceptable for women of her age. Her clothes aren't about following trends, but about expressing who she is, confident, powerful, and unapologetically herself. In fact, Debbie's style is about more than just clothes. It's about a total attitude. She has never been shy about wearing what makes her feel powerful. Whether it's a punk-infused look that screams rebellion or something more sophisticated that still carries a sense of edge, her fashion choices reinforce the idea that aging is not about losing your identity. It's about enhancing it, living it fully, and owning your uniqueness. Challenging the norms of aging. Debbie Harry's attitude toward aging is one of the most striking aspects of her persona. While society often places certain restrictions on older women, telling them that they should dress a certain way, act a certain way, or, in some cases, disappear altogether, Debbie Harry has done exactly the opposite. She has never bowed to the pressures that come with aging in the public eye. In fact, she has used her aging process to further assert her individuality, embracing the years and turning them into a source of strength rather than something to be hidden. To many, her very presence and her refusal to succumb to conventional aging stereotypes makes her indecent. But for Debbie, indecency is not a flaw, it is a virtue. This kind of unapologetic aging has been empowering to countless women, particularly those who feel invisible as they grow older. Through her attitude, Harry teaches that beauty, style, and individuality are not confined to youth. They are qualities that should continue to be celebrated no matter how many years have passed. She is often seen embracing her natural beauty in photo shoots, with her platinum blonde hair, flawless makeup, and striking wardrobe choices. But she also doesn't shy away from candidly discussing the realities of aging, and she does so with humor and grace, showing that aging doesn't have to be something to fear or hide. In fact, her very public embrace of her age challenges society's narrow views on how women should age. At 79, Debbie Harry is a walking, talking testament to the fact that women can remain relevant, powerful, and visible well into their later years. She isn't just surviving, she's thriving, proving that age is not a barrier to living life unapologetically. Recent photos and public appearances, reinventing herself, time and time again. Debbie Harry's more recent photo shoots and public appearances are a visual representation of her constant reinvention. Even at 79, she is still pushing boundaries, whether it's through striking outfits at high-profile events or daring photo shoots that capture her rebellious spirit. One of the most notable aspects of her recent appearances is how she has managed to merge glamour with punk rock, creating a fusion of the two worlds that have defined her life. In recent years, she has been seen wearing stunning outfits that combine elegant tailoring with bold, edgy details, like sharp leather pieces, oversized accessories, and statement-making boots. Her platinum blonde hair remains iconic, as do her bold makeup choices, which emphasize her eyes and lips in a way that's both glamorous and powerful. The resulting photographs are not just beautiful, they are empowering, sending a message that says, "This is who I am, and I refuse to be put in a box." For those who continue to admire Debbie Harry, her photo shoots are much more than just a chance to look at an iconic figure in the music world. They are moments of empowerment. These images tell a story of a woman who refuses to let age or societal expectations define her. They prove that beauty is not restricted by age, and that the freedom to express oneself doesn't stop as the years go by. More than just a music legend, the cultural impact of Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry's impact extends far beyond her music. While she is undeniably one of the most important figures in the history of punk rock and new wave music, her influence on culture as a whole is equally significant. She has been a role model for women in music, showing that you can be both tough and beautiful, vulnerable and powerful, feminine and punk. Her music has inspired countless artists across various genres, from pop to rock to hip-hop, and her fearless approach to life has become a symbol for anyone who has ever felt out of place in society's narrow expectations. Debbie Harry has also been a vocal advocate for several causes, including women's rights and LGBTQIA+ rights. She has always used her platform to speak out on issues that matter to her, proving that being a rock star is about more than just music. It's about using your influence to make a difference in the world. She has become, in many ways, an icon of freedom. Freedom to be yourself, freedom to speak your mind, and freedom to live without fear of judgment. Her life serves as a powerful reminder that it is never too late to make a statement, take risks, and shine. The unapologetic legacy of Debbie Harry. In the end, what makes Debbie Harry so iconic is not just her music or her style, it's her unapologetic attitude toward life. She has never let society's expectations or the passage of time dictate how she lives her life. She has continuously redefined what it means to be a woman, an artist, and a public figure, inspiring generations of fans and artists along the way. For Debbie Harry, indecency isn't something to be ashamed of. It's a badge of honor. It represents the refusal to conform to norms, to be boxed in, and to follow the path that others expect you to follow. Instead, Debbie has carved out her own path, and in doing so, she has empowered countless others to do the same. At 79, Debbie Harry is not slowing down. She is still living her life on her own terms, boldly, fearlessly, and unapologetically. And as long as she continues to do so, she will remain an icon of empowerment, individuality, and rebellion against conformity. So, when we talk about Debbie Harry as the most indecent woman in the world, we aren't talking about scandal. We're talking about someone who has lived her life with courage, authenticity, and style. A woman who has never been afraid to break boundaries and redefine what it means to live a full, unapologetic life.